What's going on? Peace and light, peace and love. We here, we doing it. The serious cipher is in effect. So far, so good. And it's me kicking it, chilling, and doing what I do. And I got to tell you, this energy still has been kind of pulling on my energy. And when I say pulling on my energy, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but in a way that has made me a lot more tapped in and tuned in. And I've been needing a lot more rest these days. And I guess I can blame that on that moon. It's positioned in Aries, right? And hold, I was looking on hold up, let me see if I can find that. It says it's the feeling of uncertainty can make you solve problems faster than natural. Do not rush as if there was a deadline, and try to slow down so that you can decide what you want to do and proceed at your own comfortable pace. Ain't that the truth? What? 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 And I've been feeling that way, like really, like I need to slow down, but I've been kind of moving in slow motion and I've been doing my thing, but I'm here for it. I want to talk today about this Hierophant energy because this right here, definitely something that I want to dive a little deeper into. What's going on, brother Dante? Showing up in the house. How you feeling? Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. Just wanted to say what's up, what's up. I'm talking about that Hierophant energy, the spiritual wisdom, the ethics, the conformity, the tradition, and morality out here in these streets. And so when we think about that Hierophant energy, I think about like these traditional religious systems, especially with ones that I came up in the Christian church. And I'm gonna tell you, I used to be Sister Super Christian, where I wasn't playing around out here in these streets. And so for somebody that was that embedded into a traditional system to become so more expansive in the direction that I was going where my spirituality was concerned. It was like I took a left turn. But in reality, what I did is I just took a different path. And we get it confused with it being good versus bad, right versus wrong. And we get stuck into that on or off, all or nothing mentality that takes us down a road of conformity. And so I wanted to talk just a little bit about a lot of the profound things that I found out on my spiritual journey. I wanted to dive a little bit into that and just talk a little bit. But brother Dante, how you feeling today? He's on mute. What's
I'm good. I'm
up?
good. What's going on? I'm just in the woods, grabbing uh, some sap, some incense, and yeah.
Word. What kind of incense you putting together?
No, the stuff that the tree sap that comes out of the pine tree.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it just I made a little Instagram post about it, about some of it. You see that it's some stuff in a little circle, some little white stuff. And yeah, I'm just grabbing some of that, and then I boil it and put it in the bath, or just burn it, or I just sniff it. But it's very uh pineal stimulating because it's from the pine tree. So yep, that's
Mm,
what I'm doing in the woods, listening
right.
to the frogs and crickets going crazy over here. As soon as I popped up, they started singing. So I'm just chilling, getting out the house.
Word, word, word. So I ain't really been checking out Instagram that much. Like I'll get in there, throw something up there on the wall and keep it moving because I noticed that I was giving a little too much of my time to social media. So now I'm trying to check in and check out real quick, but I'm gonna definitely check that out and everything. But
Yeah,
Dante,
just go, just put pine tree sap on YouTube. Sap SAP. pine tree sap on YouTube, and they're gonna show you. There's a million people probably showing you a million different ways to use it. But if you just put pine tree sap and go find a pine tree near your house somewhere, and wherever it's injured at,
Mhm,
like a branch broke off or something like that, it
mhm,
starts oozing that amber, that like brownish reddish stuff, and it starts turning white too. Sometimes it looks like white powder, and you just scrape it off with a knife, and it's the best. Sometimes it's soft when it's still like brownish and got that amber color, and then it starts getting hard. And yeah, and it smells good. It's free incense. And then right now I'm sitting on a stump, an actual tree stump, so it's just hell of it here. So yeah, that's just free incense. Get a piece of charcoal, burn the charcoal, get it lit, and then just sprinkle some of that on there, and you active. You are active.
that is so gangster. Dante is a modern day shaman in my,
I
you
ain't
know,
got
that,
it yet.
yeah,
I ain't
yeah.
got it yet.
Absolutely, you are. Let me ask you
Yeah.
something. So that tree sap that you have, when you go out there, you pull it right up. Do you need to wait for it to dry before you can put it on the charcoal, or can you put it just directly, like right after you get it?
Uh, I did it when it was still soft before. It
Mm,
kind of, if you put it on there when it's still soft, it looks like it's alive, like it's real. It looks like, I said, if you check out my Insta and you see, like, I made a little circle out of it,
mm,
out of the stuff that's relatively dry. And then if you scroll down probably uh 10 or so rows or something like that, if
mm.
you see a piece of charcoal, it's a video. I only got so many videos, but if you see a video with some charcoal and you watch that, that was the first time I ever did it. And it like bubbles and stuff, and it looks like it's alive. Like it look cray cray. It look crazy as shit. So,
Wow.
it stimulates your spirit.
The
Yeah.
okay, so if when it see, because I'm gonna tell you something now. I've used frankincense, right? So I
Yeah.
got sort of an idea of the sap. I haven't done this before, but this sounds so gangster. That's why I'm trying to make sure. So when I'm doing this, am I gonna, when I put that on there, am I gonna do that like during meditation, and that's gonna really help to open up the pineal gland so that my meditation will be more effective?
I mean, whatever you use incense for, I would say hell yeah though, because it's just it's it's from the pine tree, and the pine cone is basically a symbol of the pineal gland. So
Right.
if it's coming off that tree, it's magical by default. So
Mhm.
wherever the tree, like I said, has a little injury, some people go and actually like take a little knife and prick little holes in it, and
Mhm.
it's basically it's tree blood. So I'm not gonna do it like myself and start making holes in no tree. I just look for where it's already injured at, and then I take some of that off, and then leave a crystal there, if I like some shungite or something for the tree. Bury it at the roots. I dig a little hole at the roots and bury a crystal there to kind of do an energy exchange with it, to put some respect on the name, because it's tree blood. So, it's like a scab. Like when you bleed and then your blood solidifies, it does all of that. So it can be hard, and it'll last longer, but if it's soft, it'll just it may keep putting the charcoal out, is what it might do, because if it's still soft and gummy, it's like gum. Like people
Mhm.
use it to like make gum out of it, like not gum but glue. Like people use it for all type of stuff. So if you just put harvesting pine tree sap, you're gonna see people, you know, you'll get lost with the amount of information out there. But
Right.
sometimes it when somebody in the same soul group or whatever is doing something, it'll ring your bell more than just randomly searching random stuff all over the place. So that's just a little it works. Try it and test it and prove. Like you could just I just peel some off the tree and just sniff that, like just smelling it. It puts you in the zone, just like lavender. If you see
Mhm.
lavender growing and you sniff lavender. It does something to your mind. Like rosemary helps you with memory. If you see a rosemary bush and you take some of that, um, they all do different things, but any smell, that's the strongest scent tied to memory is smell, and causes nostalgia in you. So if you meditate and you keep using the same smell, you're gonna get into your meditation much faster, because it's like how can I say, it's like if you eat something and then that thing makes you sick, whenever you
Mhm.
see that thing, you can get sick pretty easy just looking at it or smelling it. It's like, oh, I don't want none of that, even though you ain't really. So it's like with the pine tree sap, when you meditate and you keep meditating with it, it's the same concept, but the opposite effect. So it's going to put you in meditation quicker and quicker, and it just enhances. I think frankincense is the same deal. There's something called, what's that called? Uh, benzoin, BENZ, as in
Yeah,
zebra.
benzoin. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That one, they actually, like, you have to cut a hole in the tree, and it's inside the tree, in the hollow of the tree. That's where they harvest that from. But
Mhm.
I don't, I just go buy it from the store, because basically I ain't, Diddy, I ain't had the time to research what tree it comes from and all that. But
Right.
it's a similar concept as it is the tree blood, basically. So that's what it do.
Wow, that is super powerful, especially in a time like this, right? Because that pineal activation is
Most
is
definitely, definitely, yeah.
yeah, it's definitely something. And then I went while you were talking about that, I said, well, let me check in to see like what the origin of this whole pine is, and it's from the planet Mars, and like you said, it is connected to the air element. And when you was talking about that whole aromatherapy and how that helps to kind of transport you right into that meditative state, or it helps in opening up that pineal gland, right?
Yep.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because there's some things. It's this perfume that I used to wear when I was younger, and when I got pregnant, I had morning sickness and shit like that, right? And to
Yeah.
this day, when I was spraying that perfume, it was my absolute favorite. It made me so sick that to this
Oh
day
yeah.
I still
Yeah, yeah.
can't deal with it. To this day, I can't deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna put their name out there because that's kind of jive. But
Nah, it is what it is. You ain't shitting on nobody.
yeah,
Shit. If I say I'm allergic to apples, Mother Nature ain't gonna get mad and say, "Oh, nigga, you're talking shit about apples and I made them." Nah, it's just your body chemistry and what you went through.
right,
It's not like you saying don't ever use this perfume. That's just your personal experience with it.
right.
So,
No doubt.
which one was it? CK for girls? What was it?
No, it was this perfume. It was called Tribe back in the day.
Tribe,
Yeah,
like
but I
like
don't even know if they still make that shit. You used to go buy it at the drugstore and shit. I wasn't that deep. You know what
oh, okay, yeah,
I'm
for
saying?
sure,
You
for
you could
sure.
buy yeah, it was some shit you could buy at the drugstore, but I love that shit. And I used to buy it, and it started making me so sick that to this day, 30 years later, I can't even deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even mess with that. But listen, when you was talking about that pine, I wanted to look into there because the powers of the pine is healing, fertility, protection, exorcism, and money. So this is
For sure, for
right.
sure.
And when that was the only thing. See, when you started talking about how this opens up the pineal gland and all of that other stuff, that exorcism, it helps to raise the vibration, right? But the only thing that I knew about pine was I used that in money spells and in money baths. So when you started saying that, I'm like, oh, stop. Now I never even thought about that, right? Is to
Yeah.
get some of that sap and put it in my bed. See, I live in Pittsburgh. We got pine trees all day. I got one in the backyard, right? So I'll gather up some of the pine cones and I will bring them into the house. I'll boil them and I'll do some, prosperity rituals with that shit, right?
Yeah.
But I never even thought about seeing if that tree was leaking some sap. That's something that ain't even come into my mind. I didn't even think that deep on that.
It's not about your mind. That's the whole thing. You just, the way I even figured it out, I was walking by a very skinny pine tree, and now that I think about it, sorry about that, this car's going by and shit. But I'm not even sure if the first time I ever did it, the one you see on video, if that was specifically a pine tree. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of different species of trees that ooze out that sap to heal their wounds, so that insects and stuff don't get in there and just start chewing on it.
Right.
So it's just the nature of it. What it's doing is protecting the tree. So symbolically, it's gonna protect you, or literally too at the same time. So and it's like the main, when you look at a reef, which is used for prosperity, a lot of pine cones on a reef. Like if you just type in reef,
Right.
you always see pine cone, not all like mandatory, but
Yeah.
very often. I would say half the reefs you see.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. So as far as you doing it for a money ritual, I mean, yeah, it's shutting down your mind, your thinking apparatus. So when I seen it on the tree, I just know there's an amber that you can buy. Like there's like this crystal shop that has a lot of stuff by my house, and they have insects that like old ass amber with insects trapped inside of the amber. Like fossilized, basically old insect. It might be a bumblebee from like 1,000 years ago, and it got caught up in that sap, right, and it got solidified, and you can like buy that. You got that online right now. So when I seen the tree and I seen that same amber color, I was like, this color looks like the same thing that they sell at the crystal stores. Let me just see what this does. I just experimented. Like I wasn't thinking at all. I just connected the symbols. Right. You know what I'm saying? And the symbols, yeah. Like, oh, that looks just like the amber from the store. Let me pull that off the tree. I didn't, I wouldn't, if I was thinking, I wouldn't grab it. Like, what am I gonna pull off? What is that? That sticky weird shit? I ain't touching that. But oh, an owl. That's the owl over here.
Is an owl out there?
Yeah. And I was tripping off too. Owls and pigeons damn near make the same noise, but owls sound a little better in my opinion. But pigeons be doing the same shit. They be boop, boop, boop. But then the owl's more like ooh, like slower, like it's more deep and more not spooky, but
that is so gangster.
I don't know.
But when the owl shows up, reminding us to tap into the intuition that you was just talking about, that you were using the incense and the sap to assist you with doing. That is
real time. No, real time shit. Real time shit. Like when I showed up at this park, right? And I had some baths that I had already boiled, like the leaves and stems or whatever. And some I just never did nothing with, but basically like herbal baths that you can buy at Britannica's. Like in the bag, it's a bunch of leaves and stuff. And I didn't end up using this stuff. And like I'm not just gonna throw it away, you know what I'm saying? It's part of it I used, and then some of it I just mixed it all together. Like and just took it to this big ass park that I'm at, and put it in the park so that it can nourish the trees. Like find a spot where it's hella dead grass or ain't too much shit going on in this big ass park. Find one of those spots, and so it can make the soil, so it can start creating some soil. And I went down to go throw this bag away, kind of towards the edge of the park, and then crickets and frogs and shit. And I didn't hear shit. But as soon as I threw that bag and did what I did, I'm on my way to leave, and they just came alive on a dime. Like they all started making noise at once. I'm like, what the fuck? Where did all these mother? It's like somebody unmuted the TV. I said, what the fuck? All these motherfuckers, so these are like, ready, fuck crickets, and I'm like, oh shit. So, and then I saw a coyote. So I'm seeing fucking everything in this.
Oh wow. And you know
Uh,
what's crazy?
yeah,
The
it's magic
coyote
right
came
now.
up.
I didn't get the
Yeah,
coyote.
that's real live on time magic coming through right there. And the coyote
Yeah,
came through in my
yeah.
meditation the other day too. That's some crazy.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
what's up.
yeah. Well, you know, the coyote, he come through to remind you about too lightening up. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, you know, sometimes I'll take things too seriously. And so for me in my meditations,
I wouldn't say you take it too, not to Shakesha, okay, not, I don't feel like you take stuff you take too serious, not from my perspective. Maybe you feel like that, but I feel like it's a little logical sometimes, just a little too literal, like a little too much thinking, and
yes.
not too much like it ain't hurting you. It ain't hurting you, obviously. It
Right.
ain't hurting nothing, but uh, just to watch the coyote, just looking at it, the motherfuckers, the Latino people call the person who helps them navigate through the mountains a coyote. Like when they come into the U.S. illegally, they gotta navigate through the darkness and do all this shit. They call the person who knows the way how to get through these mountains and where to go to not get caught by border patrol. They call them coyotes, or you gotta pay a coyote to help you do that. So uh, just by watching uh, what anything does, it's always a symbol behind it. Same thing with the tree sap. It's like this is tree blood. Okay, this is tree blood.
Right.
That's some sacrificial shit. That's
Right.
why I say I leave a crystal right there to say like thank you, because it's gonna ooze out some more and keep healing itself. Or I might come and bring some charged water, some shungite water, eventually, you know, to just to say thank you, just to make an exchange with it. But yeah, just watch stuff. You know, my I'm kind of long winded, but
No,
hey, it's just it's
no.
happening. It's
You know
happening.
what? No, this is
I
exactly.
do know what.
Yeah, I was about to. Hey, this is exactly the spirit ordered because yeah, spirit was letting me know like you need to start asking Dante what the science for free is.
Oh yeah, well shit. Yeah, there you go. So what I was gonna say was I just got shocked and appalled at, you know, I'm not passing judgment on my sibling. I
Right.
have a sibling, and I because I have a cat, and the sibling was saying, you know, right now my cat's in heat, right with the full moon, Chinese New Year, and all that. She going crazy in the house. Oh, boy, I'm gonna record some of that and put it on Insta. But
Okay.
she said to me, "Oh, I just looked on Google, and Google told me that when the cat is howling like that, that's her way of asking for a man." And I was shocked that like why wouldn't you know that? Like not even to be judging, like it's in
Right.
heat, that means it wants to procreate. What do you think that noise is? And then she was like, well, I checked online to see why they make that noise because I want to know if she's in pain. Like, does that hurt? Is that why she's making that noise? I'm like, if you just think about it, nature doesn't make you're gonna have pleasure to procreate. That's how nature keeps it going. It's not gonna make having sex painful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make it feel great.
Right.
So the cat is howling, trying to see if any male cats are around, and then it's not in pain. Why would it be? If it was a painful process, cats wouldn't procreate. If you just think about it, like put yourself in them shoes.
Right.
You're a human being. If you have sex, it don't hurt unless people don't know what they doing, or you know what I'm saying. That ain't your right fit. You know,
Can
you
be
might be.
painful.
It can. No,
Yeah.
I'm saying, but it shouldn't though. It
Right.
shouldn't though.
Absolutely. Right.
So what is he doing? So beat the
Right.
pussy up. It's more like Why do you want to do that? Like,
Right.
and that's a masculine a control issue, if you ask me, because I'm not trying to beat nothing. Beat the word beat, like hit the spot. I'll say
Right.
that. Yeah,
Right. Right.
beating
Right.
it up, like that's when you didn't know how to really work nothing. So you
Right.
want to feel masculine, and yeah, I hurt you by having sex with you. Hey, don't you love that person? Like, what the fuck you want her to be in pain for? Somehow
Right.
let me beat this up. No, you do that because you trying to conquer her. Because you trying to say,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
look at me and my big ass dick.
Mhm.
Okay, bro. But there's niggas who are making with there's Reiki people who don't have to necessarily touch the female. Like they waving their hands around and the female's having the orgasm. Like
Right.
like I heard of this. This is documented. You can look that up. Like
Mhm.
orgasms without touching. You know what I'm
I
saying?
heard about that shit, Dante. I heard
That's
about
real.
that
That's
shit.
real shit. So
Where
all
the
that to say,
I, I would wonder, is there any books out there on that? Because I am absolutely intrigued by that. I remember hearing about that shit.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name. It's a brother that does it. That's an
Yeah.
expert with that, and I'm trying to remember his name. It's called. His name is the conscious. I don't know if it's mongoose. It's the conscious something. If
Mm.
I find it, I'm gonna let you know. But
Yeah,
there's a guy. You might be able to just YouTube and put orgasm with no hands and look
right.
for the nigga. And
Okay.
that's all I can say. Like look for the not like that, but look for the black damn the sun
Yeah,
set
yeah.
is beautiful right now. Look
Yeah.
for the black dude and he really like he waving his hand. Like I had Reiki treatment before. Like this female did it on me. She didn't touch me whatsoever. And I definitely came up out my body and shit. Like she didn't touch me though. And
Mm.
she's just moving her hands around. Like she
Mhm.
put me to sleep. And then I came out of my body like to where like towards the end of the session, like when I got back in my body, it's like I sat up like Frankenstein. Like I just sat up, sat straight up from laying down to just sitting up like a capital letter L. I just sat up, but I didn't know that that's what had happened. I just felt like I was falling. So I'm like, why do I feel like I'm falling? And I just sat up, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you had came out your body, and I saw you." And I'm like, "Oh okay." And she's a sister girl, so that's why I trusted her because
Right.
I don't just trust any old body doing anything with my energy. But all that to say, what I'm saying? I can imagine if she just told me, breathe like this, and she gonna have me having an orgasm, like without touching me. Like
Yeah.
I know that shit's real.
Yeah.
I know
Right.
that shit's real. That was a
Wow.
long ass fucking monologue right there.
Hey, listen, no, I'm telling you, I'm here for that shit. You dropping some gems out here in these streets. So,
Nah, I'm just talking about things that
right.
that I've seen and kind of researched a little bit, and
Mhm.
it's just connecting like that. It is connecting though. It's all connecting. So I
Right.
ain't just trying to be talking just to be talking. It's all relevant and
No,
to a point. But I ain't putting on a shaman shirt yet though. I'm not gonna let you do that. I aspire to be. All right. I'll
well,
put.
I'm here to tell
I
you,
ain't doing that.
I'm here to tell you, I know it, I see it, and this is why I was calling you.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll
Right.
take it.
That's why I was reaching out to you in the whole beginning. See, that's what that was all about. So I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
it,
yeah.
I saw it, I seen it, I see it. And that's what that was all about. Like, and that's what I was just saying. I wanted you to get here and get on this cipher and really start getting comfortable because I knew that in time you would go come up in here and drop some shit for us, you know,
Yeah, I don't know. Nah, I'm just saying, like, I don't.
and you just did.
I gotta keep saying that. Like, I don't really know shit. Like,
Right,
I know some
right.
things, but like, it's just, I'm just putting it together in a very. I guess I can put it together. I know how to put it in words. Like the things, I know how to connect shit. but I want to see some fucking fairies. Like I'm trying to see some shit. Like when I'm walking through these woods, like I want to see. I want to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do some real shit. I don't
Wow.
want to just be. So I'm challenging myself because it's getting dark. These trees is hella tall, and yeah. So
It's dark, dark here. Peace, Quantum Lion stopping through the cipher today. Hey, bro, I'm gonna tell you something. Brother Dante was just up here dropping some shaman science in our lap.
you can
Out
call
here,
it that. You can call it that.
yes, that's what it is. Some shaman science. What's going on? How's it going, brother?
What's going on, bro?
I don't know. He's on
Be
mute.
on mute. Probably on mute. I be on mute sometimes. I can't unmute myself sometimes. Y'all be thinking I
I
be
don't think
gone. I be like, no.
I can't unmute you. So the only thing I can do is ask you to
How
unmute.
about now?
There you go. All right now.
Yeah, I went out
There
of
you go.
it and got back in, and it said mute or stay stay muted. Yeah, I just wanted to pop in with you guys for a minute. It's been a minute. I've been this job ain't no joke right now. So
What kind? Oh yeah, you do construction, huh?
yeah, and I'm working like my days are like 13, 14 hours long.
Oh
I
wow.
was gonna say you doing 12s over there. I could tell when she says it's no joke, you
Yeah.
doing 12s. Cause I do carpentry too, and I know what them 12-hour days do. That should be
Oh
some other
yeah.
shit.
I mean, it's fine when it's for like a week or two, but once you're going like months of it, it gets taxing. But you know what I mean? We're here just I'm still reading up the energy all the time, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I just wish I had more time for particular things, but that time will come.
It will come and everything in due time. And I trust divine order and divine timing on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this whole cipher is about because, everybody's not going to be able to participate in the cipher and get in here and build all of the time. We got lives, we got families and dynamics and shit like that. And so I really just
Yeah.
want to just create a space for us to be able to come in here and just talk about the world, the energy as we experience it, because we don't see it the same way everybody else do, and we got a complete
Yeah.
different perspective on how things go. Dante was just up in here dropping with us about how he's out here in the woods. Al showed up and confirmed all of that.
Yeah.
Him working with the pine cone and that sap from the pine tree and the things that we
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yeah.
Yes, for some third eye ascension work right up in here. So he got me ready to go running out to the backyard with my collection kit.
Do it.
Yeah.
Getting it
Do
in.
it.
No, that tree sap is no joke. I collected
Right.
some that was red,
Mm,
and when I picked it with my daughter, we went hunting for like there was a time where we would go like every other week, and we'd go to different places, and we'd collect like different stones that my daughter would get attracted to.
mm,
So from that, I brought a bunch home, and over time, I created a spiral around the tree.
mm,
So at the same time, at the end of that walk, we came upon a tree, and it was just oozing this like red. And immediately when I saw it, I thought of dragon's blood.
mm.
That that's what came to
Yeah.
my mind because I was channeling a lot of dragon stuff, the weeks prior to that. And so that's the same day that where I remember I showed you that like it looked like a ball, but it was like petrified snake skin on the outside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that same day, that's when all that popped in. And I knew that these things were gonna come to me. Well, that sap, I ended up using it when I opened up the Quetzalcoatl portal last year. And I think it was September, if I'm correct. Um, I boiled it and
Right. Right.
because it was already crystallized.
Mm,
I boiled it and I put it on feathers.
mm.
So I coated them with feathers, and then I coated it onto the feathers, and then on a particular day I burned them all. So I think I burned 13 feathers, I think it was total. And that was kind of well, not kind of, it was a call to spirit to start assembling the tribes. So it was that time was very powerful as far as the confirmations that were coming through on a global level, as far as what I was put to enact. So it was a beautiful thing. Until this day, those feathers still, I have a bunch of feathers that are on my 11 pointed star. Well, I want to say months afterwards, after that ritual, one of those burnt feathers came back. I don't know how, but it came back, and I'll show it to you too, because I keep it. I'm like, what the hell? And I could tell it was them because it's crispy.
What?
Yeah.
So when you say it came back, where'd you? I mean, you don't gotta say too much, but where you burnt them, like in a park or something,
No,
or
I
in your
actually
backyard?
no,
or?
I burned them. I burned them right around that spiral thing that I'm telling you.
Wow.
But me and my friend were there, and we burnt them together. This is when Anthony was down here.
Okay.
So we burnt them together, and dude, I know they all burned. So when this one popped up and it was like crispy to the touch, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Because I had another encounter like that when I was channeling, like I speak with dolphins whenever I'm out on the waters. So I have them carry certain information down to the bottom, because I know that there's these civilizations that went. So I connect to those energies. So anyways, I bought this stone. It's probably my most expensive stone, and it's tiny. I think it's Larimar.
Oh yeah.
So what I would do when I got this, I would stick it right here on my third eye, and it would just stay there. And when I would meditate, it would feel like my third eye was opening more.
Wow.
So one day, like when I first got this, I wouldn't take it off. I would literally walk around my house with this thing on, right? So I even went out on the boat one time, and I had this and a bunch of stones with me. Well, that later on that day, my friends are like, oh, let's go to the bar. So we stopped by a bar in Gardena, which is where I used to stay. And literally, I'm thinking of a homegirl that I had at UPS. I'm thinking of her, and within 2 minutes, I kid you not, she's right next to me.
Wow.
And I'm like, what the hell? I ain't seen her in like 14 years, you know?
Yeah.
That whole night was very almost out of body. So I had this stone on me that day, and I'm talking to everybody at this bar like this, right?
Right.
And next day, shit's gone. So I'm like, where's my stone? I can't find it. I was bummed. So afterwards, I started kind of like meditating on it and say, like, I want my crystal back. Like, this is my crystal. So next time I went out on the boat, this stone is sitting in a cup in some water.
Holy shit.
And even my friend, he was all like, my friend got like goosebumps. He's all like, oh my God, bro, I remember seeing you with that thing on that night.
Yeah.
Like on our drive there.
Oh.
So somehow, yeah, this little stone and that feather has come back to me. So I make sure that, I give it a little sacred space on my altar.
Actually, let me tell you something else that's really profound. So you definitely got this connection with these Aztec gods and goddesses. So right now I've been working with this Aztec goddess. She's a flower goddess. She's called
Okay.
Xochitl Quetzal. And she's the she's the flower goddess of happiness, the arts, and love. And when I was working with her, she brought me a message to let me know that it's time for me to really start appreciating life's joys, you know, because I sit around and get so stressed and so worried and all of this other stuff. The marigold is one of her flowers, and it was crazy because I was making a lot of marigold intention oils and all of these other things. Like I rocks with the marigold, right? But I do with a lot of prosperity rituals. So you two guys was both dealing with stuff that I only deal with on the prosperity end, because that's what I've been focusing on. That's where my mind has been spinning on and everything. And spirit has been showing up yet again to let me know that I need to quit worrying about that foolishness and start enjoying my life. But
Absolutely.
I had to pull out the book and and talk about. I just wanted to just say it says the Aztecs, the people who ruled over a vast empire in Mexico during the Middle Ages, believed in the flower goddess who they called Xochitl Quetzal. The goddess of the sacred flower was the yellow marigold, and her name meant feather flower, referring to the marigold's many feathery petals. One of the happiest Aztec deities, Xochitl Quetzal, was also the goddess of dance, music, crafts, and love. Appropriately, her twin brother, I'm gonna ball this up too, Xochipilli, was honored as the god of pleasure. Xochitl Quetzal lived on top of a mountain above the nine heavens, and this flower-laden garden was populated by merry dwarfs, dancing maidens, and musicians. The Aztecs believed that anyone who was faithful to the goddess would spend an eternity in her paradise in the life that had ended. She brings the message, it's time to appreciate all of life's joys. That was so on time right there.
That is on time, and I'll say this for us and for everyone that's listening in. You know, it's very easy to get sucked into this matrix system vibrationally. So, for instance, me, I go to work, you know, people are literally, you could feel their energy is very low a lot of times. You could feel that heavy ego, especially in construction. Everything is ego driven, you know?
Yes.
You know, it's just a dick measuring match all day, you know?
For real.
Yeah, so learning how to detach from that, but people actually know me, you know, like they come and they, you know, they'll say certain things, but they know like that I'm into chakra work. They know I'm sitting outside taking in the sun on every break and reading books. Like, I don't care who's watching. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to do and get mine in when I can, because I don't have that time that normally people have on an 8-hour shift. But I make the most of it, you know, and I think that's why spirit always meets me halfway, is because they see me doing my part as well. It is definitely a lot of stuff happening on the planet. It's spirit first in the beginning of the year said this is time for you to rest in a way, but we don't mean that like just be lazy as hell. We mean like rest as far as like certain things of how you were moving. We need you to move a little differently. So, you know, on the seventh day he rested. That whole thing is a vibrational, you know, statement.
Right.
So this being a 7-year, and a direct open line to creator, it's almost like be careful what you are putting out, because you're gonna get it like on a multiplied level. So for me, I'm also focusing in on, you know, providing a legacy for my family. Trying to focus in on little things that, you know, sometimes I'm so worried about everybody else that, and I almost don't care about myself in a way. Like I'm very like I just give, but like I don't really think of, hey, what do I need to do to move forward in certain areas?
Right. Yeah.
So I think this year I've been more honing in on that. Like for instance, I wanted to create shirts and clothing because Spirit put that on me. I want to say like a year and a half ago, and I actually started almost like channeling designs, but I would say it's more symbology than design. Um, and then I started putting that into effect this year. As far as like, I really need to get down and put this thing on a tablet and like get this thing like moving a little bit more because I'm starting from scratch. I don't know none of this stuff.
Right.
So I've been doing that, and interestingly enough, I started reading a book called The Science of the Dogon,
Mm.
and it talked about the first thing that they received uh, um was about clothing. So when they said like the word of God was clothing to them. So a lot of information came in as far as like, yeah, you need to move in that direction because you're getting a different perspective as far as what this clothing thing is about.
Mm.
Because I was always happy buck ass naked, you know what I mean? But
Right.
it's something about the clothing aspect of it that that we've kind of detached from, and we've gone more towards like brands and things of that nature. But
Yes.
really what we wear is supposed to represent something of your spirituality.
Absolutely.
So I've been doing that, and trying to really spend a lot more time with like my daughter, my wife, whenever I have that time,
Mm.
focus in on things like that. Because as someone that really understands cycles, you'll never see me doing the same shit all the time anymore.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
I never do the same stuff. Even like, uh, let's say I pick up the weed for like 2, 3 weeks, and then I just stop because it's like I understand that there has to be different cycles. And the crazy thing, here's the crazy thing: the last 3 times I've gotten weed, Spirit gave it to me.
Mm.
Like literally, I found weed, like canisters of weed.
What?
Yeah, like when I went to do the ritual last year on Strawberry Mountain,
Mm.
um I'm meditating up there like, I do this whole thing for like a good 30, 40 minutes, and then like I'm done and I look over and it's a canister like with weed in it.
Shit.
Like pre-rolled weed.
Wow.
This past week the same thing. Like I went to the park, I'm walking and there's a fucking canister of weed. So um it's just crazy how like really when we want things and want to manifest certain things, we can manifest whatever. But it's about being responsible with the things that we have, and like with the knowledge that we have, how to move forward and not stay like stuck, not stay in a stupor, because we are water, and water's supposed to move. If not, it stinks.
Right. Right.
So I think cycles are very important.
Absolutely.
And the Hopi tribe, dude, the like a few it was November 30th. I just looked at my recording.
Mm.
I got up at 3 in the morning, to relieve myself, and I hear in my inner ear, I hear loud, blue kachina, blue kachina, blue kachina, like repeated over and over. And I'm like, like looking like, what is this blue kachina thing? Because I kind of knew a tiny bit about it,
Okay.
like brushed over,
Okay.
but it was like kind of nothing nothing that I had any knowledge of. I just knew that it was kind of like a prophecy or something like that.
Okay.
So I heard that, and the very next day, I'm watching something on Black Magic 363, and after the video was over, it prompted another video, like on its own,
Mm.
that happened to be like a few months, like a month and a half or 2 months back, and the guy basically he just skims over it, but it's just funny how that works when an energy reaches out to you. Next thing you know, everything is about that energy. So
Mm.
he brings up how the hero twins in the Mayan pantheon is connected to the red and the blue kachina.
Mm.
And this is the very next day after I hear this, you know what I'm saying? And I haven't heard nothing about the kachina, since I woke up almost. Because I think Brother Panic and Alim kind of brushed over it when they gave that whole spiel on, the whole thing that was happening in 2020.
Right, right.
So it's interesting because I remember that. So since it was 3 in the morning, I'm like, I'm gonna go back to bed, but I'm gonna record it on my phone. So I just said blue kachina, right? And ever since then, ever since that day, I've heard like 4 or 5 different people bring up the blue kachina in different teachings.
Mm.
But the thing about it is that they've kind of skimmed over it, or they just kind of say a certain thing and they don't go into detail. So it's been left up to me. So I bought a book um that I'm reading now, and I bought this doll. The You see it?
Uh-huh.
So check this out. So you see on
Dope.
but you see that symbol right there,
Mm-hmm.
the pyramid.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-step pyramid,
Yes.
and it has little dots in and outside of it.
What does that mean?
Well, check this out. See, this is how I know spirit's like giving me messages, but the frustrating part for me is like I don't get like a concise message. It just comes in little by little. So
Right.
in October, beginning of October, my wife had gone and she went to the 99-cent store or something like that, and she got these things for us to paint. So
Okay.
I painted this, and if you look at this, this is like all this stuff that kind of I was channeling in
Oh,
and was just doing. That's all interconnected. I got Ganesha,
yeah.
like
That's
all
a
these different
meditation
things.
piece.
Well, check this out. Look at this. Look at this right here, and it ain't gonna blow your mind. Look at the pyramids.
Yeah.
They're the exact same
It's
pyramid that's
on that
on
tree.
that,
Oh, wow.
and I put dots in it and outside of it the same way.
Hey.
So
Okay.
that's how like a lot of stuff happens for me. Like I just do things and I don't know why I'm doing them necessarily, and then like an energy will reach out to me. But like I said, for me it's frustrating sometimes because I don't get like a complete huge message. Like I have to do my study,
Right.
but then again, it comes in pieces, because I came in right when brother was saying like it's like puzzle pieces, you got to put together. That's
Mhm.
exactly what it's like for me. It's like I was always good at puzzles, and now spirit's giving me puzzle pieces, you know what I mean, here and there.
That.
And the way that I see it is I just already know, and this is crazy because I just already know that the Mayans, the Hopi tribe, the Dogon tribe,
Mhm.
they're all going to be interconnected somehow.
I think they are interconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have the exact details, but I pick up on things as I'm reading. Like, for instance, they call the North and South Pole, um, let's say Polangoya. and then the other one's Pola, whatever. On, you know, and it has a different variance, but that's how they say the North and South Pole in the Hopi thing. But then I think of Po, and I think of the Dogon with the Polo Tolo star, and which is that's Sirius B.
I was just about to say
So
that's serious. Yes.
and
That's
so
mm-hmm.
so Po is also how the Dogon say seed.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about cosmic seeds that were spread out throughout the whole land, you know, that went to different places. And as I'm reading just a bit of this Hopi thing, it's going through the destructions of each world that was created, and how each world wasn't as beautiful as the original. It just kept, but the crazy thing is it kept saying that we kept getting lost because we basically like, for instance, technology and other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of that is, as much as people try to okay it, I, in my heart of hearts, I feel like is drawing a lot of people away.
Yeah.
Be, because we have our own technology.
Yep.
You know, if we were to put these phones down and like literally not communicate the way we do and actually focused on the spirit aspect of it, I guarantee you we could communicate with each other.
Absolutely.
But we've just gotten to a certain place where everything's a comfort thing, right? Like, it's just so much easier. Instead of me meditating and doing all this stuff, I could just pick up a phone.
Absolutely.
But
I think that's done by design.
yeah, by design, absolutely. So it, you know, as we move forward, I think we just got to tread lightly, you know, and like really evaluate our moves as we're going. Because, you know, me having my daughter, um, I think about those things, you know, and the only thing I can do for her is have one-on-one conversations with her and just make her aware,
Absolutely.
you know, like say like, hey, I don't think technology, for instance, is evil, but like, this is what I feel like it's doing to our people. It's kind of drawing us away from each other. Just watch people, mama, like go to places, watch how they're just all on their phone. Like, you could go to a damn party and everyone's on their individual phones.
Ain't that a bitch?
So
what is going on in this world?
so there's a lot of disconnect.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely. Absolutely. And here, because I want to really, I love how this show really unfolded, because what Spirit had in plan was to give a true example of what Hierophant energy is starting to is looking like, especially today as we start shifting into this 7 vibration in this year. And these are the ways that we have been ascending. When we moving away from a lot of the traditional thing in there. One of the things that I would like to ask either of you or both of you, what would you say for somebody that's just starting into like getting into spiritual practice? What is one of the most important things that you would think that they would need to know? Let's say that we were talking to our children that are coming up with this knowledge. What is one of the key things you think would be of the greatest assistance to them in their journey?
His brother's still there. I'll let him go.
Dante, are you? I think he's on mute.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I have no idea because everybody's different.
Okay.
So you know, one of the things that initially even got my attention to do anything to do with anything spiritual was the opposite of how I was raised, which was in the church basically. So I started asking questions because I had a curious mind.
Yeah.
That alone, I don't, you can't put curiosity in somebody's head. So people you would have to be able to speak to their spirit to know where they're at.
You're
And
gonna have to listen to the
I'm,
rest on YouTube. All right.
huh? Say it again.
I was just no, the podcast part went out. So I told them they gotta listen to the rest on YouTube. Go ahead.
Oh, perfect. But yes. So yeah, I was just saying I wouldn't know what to start at because everybody comes here with a different light. So I
Yeah.
feel like you would have to be able to speak directly with their spirit and go into Akasha to say this is what you probably. They would have to get a reading. That's all. That's what I would say first. And I don't really know how to read people like that. So
Right.
I wouldn't even to like I came in questioning the church. So what I did, somebody else may need to have a near death experience, and then they gonna, start their journey that way. Somebody hear some chanting when they walk by a temple and said, well, "Why are they chanting? What's that?" So I don't feel like it's anything you could. There ain't no in my opinion, I don't know how you can even how you can. There's no set way like. What's the best way to make a sandwich? I don't know.
I,
What would you?
I would say
What's inside?
this.
So
I totally get what you're saying, Dante. But there are
I don't have an opinion.
there are initial things that you can do.
Okay.
First and
What are those?
foremost, be honest with yourself.
Okay. Okay.
I would say that's like basically what I would consider emptying out.
Right.
Like, because that's where I went to when I first went into this. I mean, I completely emptied out because I was like, first of all, it was that trauma that happened for me,
Right.
that I told you about.
Right.
But in that moment, it kind of, what started to happen is all the systems on the planet started to break down in my head. And there was a reconstruction of my temple, if I could say that. Because me emptying out, I mean, I gave it what I consider my all. Because, like I told you, for those first 2 or 3 months, I was meditating 2, 3, 4 hours a day.
Right.
With no prior experience of ever meditating before, at least by anybody being taught. I never heard YouTube. I never even saw like positions or anything.
Right. Right.
But I realized that when I was honest with myself and creator and said, all this shit that I'm seeing right now is bullshit, and what I just experienced was something crazy. I need help. I need some assistance, and let's go at this. And seriously, I got into warrior mode. Like, I went Black Mamba in the spirit realm. That's exactly where I went. Like, there was nothing that was gonna come in my way. If my wife was, mad at me for spending too much time meditating, oh well, fuck it. I need to handle this right now. Like, there's nothing more important. So that's where I went. I went to a place where nothing else mattered besides my time in meditation. And what that did for me is it opened up the floodgates for me. The floodgates, almost in a way where I wouldn't recommend it to too many people. Because some people, like, when they open up and they're not ready to open up their channels, you could get jacked up. There's energies that will come through. You're like an empty house. So there's all kinds of energies that could come through. You'll start hearing, I remember hearing like demon snickers, like, like from my daughter's room. And I'm like, what the hell? But these were all tests to get me past that fear, of something that's unknown. Once I got past that, I remember that clearly. I got kind of freaked out to the point where I went outside. I'm looking up at the stars and I'm like gathering myself. I said, this shit ain't gonna run me right now. So I went back inside and I started to like really, like, my whole demeanor changed. Now it became something where, oh, now you gotta face me. Like, I ain't facing you, you gotta face me. So it's I think it happens in the heart. To me, almost every channel that I got in the beginning that I wrote down in my journey journal had to do with the heart. They gave me so much information as far as what the heart is, why it's in the middle of the 3 chakras above and 3 below. You know, it has to do with the command center. Why they took the brain out, you know, when they were mummifying and left the heart intact. Like, there's a lot of things that came in with the heart chakra, and I literally embody that heart chakra. I do. So
I wanted to get in, but Dante, was you trying to say something?
I mean, I was just like trying to see, maybe I'm not clear on the question, because when you say somebody just getting into this,
right,
like what would they start off doing is like I'm like, you have to this hunger has to be inside you. Nobody can put the hunger inside you.
Absolutely.
And people are gonna have different things they want to eat once they say I'm hungry. Like, somebody's a great painter, is somebody's gonna do music, and then somebody's gonna, you know, build a pyramid. Like, how do you, if the hunger is not in you, will tell you what to start off with, because you ain't got no choice. If you're paying attention to what spirit is leading you to do, there ain't no set way, because as he said, he emptied himself and he heard heard no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm having my epiphanies and my synchronicities. I'm on my segment shit like right now, and my fairy shit. That's what I resonate with. But the hunger and me just paying attention to what calls my attention, they have to have an initial hunger. Like, so I don't feel like there's even a set way to even do. Me personally, like, how do you say here's the book? That's almost like the Bible. Like, the Bible tried that. It says do this, and then they took that and then made it into a million different ways.
And
Because there's
turned
a
it into
million
some
different
bullshit. Right. But listen,
so,
I'm gonna tell you, and I get exactly what you're saying, because you do. And where Axel was talking, he's really on the path. This what he do. Me and you,
he's on his path though. We're all on a path. Some of us wake up. I was gonna say, some of us like the kids that are coming in now, like during the earth frequency being so high, like they're like how remind me of who I was when I was younger, when I was just questioning everything. Why this, why that, why? They're all coming in like that.
Ain't
So
that deep?
they're coming in hungry. So
They are.
some people, my mom, for example, may never say, I'm trying to channel something. She might not even do that ever. But it's still her path, because she came to be what she is, to have that experience. So
Absolutely.
everyone came to have whatever experience, and there's no such thing as coincidences. So I feel like this is chaos, you know what I'm saying? But it's also in order at the same time, in order of whatever your story, as you're writing it, as you're living it, you're writing it. And if if this is your first, let's say your second or third time incarnating on this planet, you got sucked into church, or you got sucked into, you may have became a Muslim and flew yourself and did some weird shit, just because you're still searching.
Right.
But that's how you had to find out. Somebody may come here and get paralyzed when they're 5 years old. They paralyzed.
Right.
They came here to experience what it is, and they might be like a god somewhere, a mountain. Maybe that's why they're paralyzed symbolically. But they want to see how it feels to be a human, while they're a mountain or a comet or something immobile. Even though I know everything moves and is in vibration in another reality, like
Right.
going to sleep, you have different dreams every night. And it's like your soul, this is one dream your soul is having.
Right.
So participate in your own dream or fall asleep in your own. Do you go to sleep or do you fall asleep? Do you ever wake up in that dream?
Right.
And it's like, it's almost, some things are predetermined and some things are flexible, I feel like. And
Absolutely. And
I
this
don't
is
know. I don't know really know how to explain what I'm trying
right.
to say, but
I
I
I
feel like
get
there ain't no way
exactly
you
where
can
you're
say
going, bro. Yeah, hold on, let me get it. I'm like, But
Go ahead.
I get exactly where you're coming from, and that's what I was trying to allude to. Is that some of us are come here, we dive in head first. This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? When I came in here, when I came into this planet, this work right here, this what I came here to do, and I started off at the Christian church. That doesn't make it a lesser path. It's what you do with that path that'll help
Yeah.
you navigate in that experience. And so for me, when I'm talking to people that's just getting into this knowledge, because religion will fuck people's head up and bring a lot of fear within us. And so these experiences that Axel is having, I've had similar experiences. They'll scare the shit out of you. It scared me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if we move past all of that, that's where our experience is, because this is the path that we on. A lot of folks, they turn away from that and then they run right back to a fear-based system. So this is why I really recommend that people really start studying the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, once you recognize, once you study the subconscious mind, that's the shadow work. This is going to tell you why you respond the way that you do, why you operate the way that you do, and how shit in your life has affected you. It's going to let you know how that mind gets programmed through trauma, through repetition, and through symbols. You'll understand how that works, and then you won't be so quick to go for the okey doke that's being put in front of you out here in these streets, right? So that's going to help us without us getting all into no spooky shit that'll scare somebody off. Just studying that science of the subconscious mind is what's going to help you to be aware enough to be able to dive into the rabbit hole so that you'll have more of an understanding. Because if you dive into this stuff, a lot of folks, not you, not me, not Axel, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of us that's out here that are trying to just explore and expand our consciousness, we end up opening portals, we end up opening doors, we end up stepping into some spaces that we ain't quite ready for, you know. And what that'll frighten folks. And so if we understand how this works, which is the subconscious mind, that's the very base, that's the ground floor, that's going to take down the rabbit hole so that you can really begin to build and expand moving forward. But yeah,
Yeah, a good book for that
I
I've
was
read a
about to
bit on
ask.
it is a hidden power.
Yes, it is. I got that book too. Yep.
Yeah, that book is hard.
Yep.
And then we're talking about, like, being careful when you open up your chakras. This book, Kundalini, the Mother Power. He gives warnings as far as, like, hey, there's some people that are just curious, might open up. Be careful. You could do some irreversible stuff if you ain't ready for it.
Absolutely.
But here's what I'll say, because I think we're getting a little too technical with certain things. I think the overall thing of what you were asking is, obviously, if you're saying someone new to coming into this, I'm already thinking they open themselves up a little bit.
Mm.
But I think with that, like I said, it's important for people to give the warning as far as how they're doing it,
Mhm.
because there are some ways where you could really hurt yourself and hurt your everything, a whole lot of stuff. Curiosity is not the best way to go about it for a lot of people, because you could open up a door, you have no idea what's behind that fucking door.
Mm.
There's only few that can go that route and like pull it off,
Mhm.
but I think that's a very dangerous way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, if you've come to know something, like for instance, for me, it was a trauma that opened me up. Um, and like I told you before, I believe that we're a seed, and within that seed, we already have what we're supposed to be doing,
Mhm.
or like we're unenveloping what our destiny is per se, that comes within that seed, because um I guess that's what brother was alluding to, that yeah, there's certain people like me
Yeah.
that'll just dive in, and I go hard, I go Mamba mentality. um Nothing's gonna get in my way. I'm gonna make sure my people are good.
Mm.
Like, I'm gonna be on the front lines
Right.
of everything as it's moving. So it 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 is each individual person, but there are certain things that we can give them, as far as like move at a good pace. You know what I'm saying? Move steady like water.
Mhm.
You don't have to go a million miles per hour like I did,
Yeah.
because I think there's people that could have gone my route, and they're on the streets yelling, screaming, sounding crazy right now.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
because they opened up to something they ain't ready for. They're
Right.
not ready for it.
Not only
So,
that, too, once you really start diving into this work, the experiences that you have are so profound.
oh
Like,
yeah.
if you share them with people that don't really understand what you're doing, you sound like you done lost your mind.
Mhm.
No, I mean,
Oh yes. My
you
wife
know?
thought I was going nuts.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
wife thought I was going nuts. But
yeah,
guess what? Today we had a conversation. She's on her way to her mom's house, and she's channeling,
yeah.
and she's telling me, hey, we don't need to go here on my birthday. Like, I feel like we got to get out of California.
Mm,
That's big. You know what I mean? Like, that's big. So,
right,
um, I
right.
could see how, like, I pushed through with that, like that, do it bitch energy.
Mm,
And I was just like doing it how spirit was leading me. And it's like nothing was going to get in my way. And guess
mm,
what? Everything comes around full circle,
absolutely.
because as long as I'm showing, improving, and demonstrating through a everyday walk, not just babbling my mouth, right, but really putting into effect certain things, sharing certain things that maybe she wasn't ready for, but she
Mm,
saw them. You get what I'm saying? She
right,
saw certain things. So I know they say, like, don't cast your pearls amongst swine.
right.
So there's many different, you know I think that's an Egyptian uh thing. I know it's in the Bible, but
Yeah,
that
it's in
came
the
from
Bible too.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
um but at the same time, you have to be sensitive to what your spirit is asking you to do.
Mm,
So although some people will say, don't say this to this and this person, like, I could give you examples. Just 3 days ago, some guy at work comes up to me and he's all like, hey, you know what you told me about Tesla and this and that? And then I started you know devolving a little bit more, and telling him more about different things that I'm studying.
mm,
And he's all like, dude, ever since I've talked to you, like, you've opened me up to something that I have to tell you the things that have been happening to me.
mm,
And we still haven't had that conversation. He told me this yesterday. he's all like, but we'll get around to it and I'll tell you. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I don't ever put too much on, on things. I just kind of like let it go, and hey, he'll come around, he'll tell me. But there's certain people like at my jobs that in the beginning I was blue, 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 kind of spewing. And I was doing too much, because actually the first time I called on to Miss Blue's thing, she picked that up for me. She's all like, oh, you were just going through this very dark phase, weren't you? And I'm like, hell yeah, like you don't know how dark it's been. And she's all like, and now you just want to share and tell all these people. And I was, dude. I mean, my Kundalini was out of control. Like, it was winter time. Everybody had on sweaters and like 2 sweaters on because it was so cold. And I was like in a tank top sweating, because I would get so hot. Like my whole body would just start burning up. So my way of like speaking and telling people, it almost felt like I had that fire in my belly, and I just had to get it out. If not, it was gonna fucking consume me.
Yeah.
Like almost how they say people have self-combusted. Like that's damn near what I was feeling like. I'm like, if I don't get this out, like it's gonna consume me. That's the type of energy that was within me. And I remember I would meditate, and I wouldn't particularly pick up anything per se, but it was almost like I was everywhere in the universe at one time. So my brain, I could feel it for like those 2.5 months, maybe even more. My whole brain would tingle, like everywhere, like nonstop, like day and night. It would not stop. And I even told you this, I didn't even have to eat, and I didn't have to sleep. My energy was like through the roof. Like I've never had so much energy in my life. And I was maybe sleeping like 4 hours. And I would get out of like so I would meditate, and then I would come out and I do like some artwork or something, like, but in channeling mode, like my third eye would just be like, I could feel it open. And then I would go back into meditation and reading and listening to Bobby and like all these, I was just like over flooding myself with this stuff, which once again, I wouldn't recommend for anybody. I just have that type of energy like Kobe, where you could put me in a place where it seems like I ain't gonna make it, and I'm gonna make my way through that bitch. So if you have that type of energy, then so be it. Go ahead and do that route. But shit, now that I look back at it, I'm like, man,
hey man,
that's crazy.
The same thing. I went in just like you are talking. My husband was like, that's kind of out of balance. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, you're almost like the religious zealot, except you doing meditation style. You know what I'm saying? You're taking this like to a whole nother level. But I was so opened up. And this is the reason why when when I started getting to start working back with this Kundalini yoga, this is something that had really helped me along my journey. And so I was like, oh yeah, I got to share this. Then I had to fall back. Because I had to realize the effect that Kundalini yoga has on people. You got to be really careful with how you do that. And I said, well, right now, you know what I'm saying? Just a few people will really catch this anyway. We go, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and do what it do. And I said, and I did the breath of fire. And for whatever reason, I have not gotten around to do. I said, I was only going to do 3 of them that I thought would be effective and helpful without bringing someone into such a state that'll have them, on hyperdrive. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely a journey, and that's why I just like to really tell people to just study those basics. That psychology, studying that within itself, you know what I'm saying, is going to definitely help people. Once we really start understanding how the mind works, then that's going to give us our launching pad to really, it'll take a lot of the fear factor out, I believe, in a lot
I
of
agree.
this, you know. And so now, you know, I'm ready, you know, I've been moving full speed ahead, and this is all been thanks to the understanding that I have on how the mind works. And so I was able to take, you know, things that I knew and really begin to apply it within my spiritual practice. That has definitely helped me out a lot with my understanding of what's happening and what's going on and all of that. And there's going to be a lot of people that don't get it until they do. Now my husband is starting to really see what I was talking about, because I was telling Dante, we was rapping on the phone, I was telling him about the shit that I was getting from Haiti. I said, man, I done sent it out to a lot of people. I said, but I got that from my husband. That's not his conversation at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not his conversation, but he thought enough of that for, he was like, maybe you need to take a look at this, not knowing that I was already getting this information. So I'm like, we definitely need to lift Haiti up. There's a lot of shit going on over there. I'm gonna be revealing that soon, but I want to make sure I truly understand what I'm seeing, because you know, Miss Blue gave me,
someone I'll point you to, because I've been meaning to go back and like listen to some other stuff, but
yeah,
the person that speaks on Haiti, I have to look for it for you, but it's Rod Hayes.
oh yeah, okay,
Yeah, he was talking about Hades, but he was talking about it like, basically he was saying like, if Haiti has to be one of the first places that break open as far as like this energy that's been held there for a long time.
yes,
So that would be interesting if I come across it again. I'm gonna try to look for it and listen to it while I work. If I get it, I'm
yeah,
gonna shoot it to you.
okay,
Because you know, we're all channeling different stuff for a particular reason, to put the puzzle piece together.
absolutely,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because like I said, there's a lot of fucked up shit that's going on over there. And so Miss Blue, you know, has been really helpful in in in
yeah.
in me navigating all of that, because you know, I would see shit and it be fucked up and it would bring my vibration down and then I would come out of it. So, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I gotta shift how I'm processing what's happening. So you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
that's the whole other thing. But I did get a channel that came in that's really dealing with this energy right about now. And I'll go into that before I close out. But I want to check in with you guys to see if there's any other things or any other information that you guys would like to share before I throw that down and then keep it moving. No?
Yeah, so I want to say, it's been over a year. I didn't some Like I said, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing most of the time, like when I'm initiating something.
Mm,
But before I heard anybody start bringing this up, or even the significance of this 2023, which
mm,
is major on a lot of different levels,
shit.
um I was talking about the symbology of that Jordan, being the 23,
Yeah, that was deep.
uh,
Yeah.
and how that symbolizes the kicking off of an ascension. I know we've all been going through our own cycles of ascension, but now what's coming through is, this is a planetary thing. It's not talking about us as individuals, even though we're a part of it, right?
Mm,
But I'm talking about the planet itself is leveling up on a universal level. So that's speeding everything up, and it's gonna fucking break this whole system on its back. So ever since I said that, and I also said, like, today my post was 2024 with, because, and rest in peace, Kobe died today with his daughter.
oh wow, I
Uh,
shade of Kobe. Yeah.
Shay. Um, so his daughter wore number 2
Mm,
when she played basketball, and he wore 24. So that 2024 has to do with retribution.
mm,
It has to do with the feminine side, the daughter on one side, and the 24, the masculine on the other. But also you have the 0 in the middle
mm.
of those two numbers, which means uh that we're going to that 0 point where we have to embrace both of those parts to us and become a whole being.
Mm.
I say that in a way of saying, like, I love my wife and everything, but I'm to the point where it's like I've worked my feminine energy and my masculine energy to where I'm a complete being. Not to say I don't need you, but I want you to have that for yourself.
Right,
You
right.
get what I'm saying? Like, we have to be holy beings.
Absolutely.
So those are the channels that I got a while back, and
Mhm.
this year they're making sense. And I've heard so many different things from different people as far as what this year means. And
Mm.
trust me, this motherfucking system is gonna open up this year.
What?
Like we ain't seen it.
I'm here to tell
We
you.
ain't we ain't seen it like that.
I'm here to tell you.
This is something different. And
Absolutely.
and, and remember what we were talking about when the Queen Elizabeth died.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was a clearing of that old energy. I
Absolutely.
couldn't put my finger on it, but it was coming out of my mouth. You get what I'm saying? Like, spirit was still talking.
Yep.
So that clearing of the energy, which is why I was tasked with opening these portals to get the tribes together.
Mm.
It's it's a lot of work being done in the unseen.
Mm-hmm.
Um in the form of earthquakes,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot gonna happen
It's a lot.
because they've shown me, like, when I first woke up, I remember I spent hours in the tub because I was feeling something. I spent hours in the tub meditating and doing all this stuff,
Sheesh.
burning a candle, doing all these things, and I'm feeling the energy, and I know there's energies at my doorstep. My dogs were at the door barking at the door, and my daughter couldn't go to sleep. It's like 3 in the morning at this time, and then all of a sudden an earthquake hits.
Mm.
So she couldn't go to sleep. So then I pray for her, and I'm like, okay, I pray for her, and she's knocked out almost immediately after I pray for her. Not even 2 minutes go by, and the fucking my whole house shook like crazy. So the epicenter was here in Pacoima. So my spirit said, look up where it happened. So when I looked at the epicenter, it was on a certain street, and the other street was called Aztec Street.
Mm.
And during that time, I was channeling Aztec stuff. So the way that they were letting me know is that these were the return of these titans that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So the titans are the primordial beings that got taken over by basically subordinate energies that came in and took over the cycle.
Mm.
So last, I want to say a few months ago, when also this whole thing happened, I have to look at that date, but I want to say it was around July 4th, which is very important for me. It was one of the main things where I saw things breaking loose. Like, there's going to be a new contract basically that we're writing up. And this happened like 3 years. So every year I do like a certain ritual to keep enhancing and pushing that energy.
Mm.
So last year I did one, and then that in the morning I woke up, and mind you, it was like 313. So these are the numbers that I reside on. That 3 and that 1 and that 3. So I woke up like 313, and I remember because I looked at my phone because my wife was talking to me And she goes, come outside, come outside. The reason why I woke up, I heard a, like loud. So I go outside. I'm like, what was that? She's all like, look, I took a picture. There was a eagle that came and landed right on our pine tree.
Yeah.
And then, so she took a picture of it, but in the picture, it just looks like an orb.
Mm.
So my spirit immediately, I went outside, and when she told me this, my spirit said, map the stars right now. So I mapped the stars, and right in the same direction, right behind what would be that direction where it was at, was the constellation of Aquila, which Aquila means eagle. So this eagle came and popped up on this date, and basically these are like the manipulated energies, because what do they use? They use the eagle here, right, for the flag. Okay, fast forward, let's say a few months later, where my mom's from is Colima, Mexico. So there's an earthquake, and here's the vibration with this year, the 7, right? It was a 7.7 earthquake, but yet only like one person died. But the trippy thing about it is, when I'm reading this, the article on it, it says that it was 23 miles from Aquila, which is a place in Mexico. So this is the way the spirit's communicating with me, that these are returned ancestor energies that are coming forth in the form of an earthquake or that type of stuff. So when we're calling on these energies and ancestors, like, expect that we're gonna see, like, look at here in California, fucking, we got cyclones coming through all of a sudden.
Yeah. And you hear about what was that happened over there by the Grand Canyon? And they were saying that it was all of this noise that was going on, or some shit like that was going on. And it was this cat who was saying that, they trying to, so they got it sealed off over there. And the word on the street is that, you know what I'm saying, that the Titans is opening up. There's a portal somewhere over in there or something like that. I don't know. I didn't look into it. I wasn't moved to do that, but I'm just saying, like, it's going down.
Okay. So it's funny you say that, because remember I told you my wife said something about she doesn't want to go where we were planning to go, which was we're going to go to the snow. And this is on her birthday. So she's born February 23rd. So that's 223 on a 223 year. So her energy is crazy. I've been working for her on her end, but she's a very, like, the shit that I don't have, like, she's got, like, the imagination. She says she could be driving, like, she was telling me, she goes, yeah, I'll be like driving, and then I'll see myself over certain locations, covering that location with a certain energy. So she's powerful. She just doesn't know how powerful she is sometimes. But as it's been unraveling for her, like today, the conversation was, now I see how powerful I am, which is a beautiful thing to hear. It's like, that's what I want my woman to be. I want her to feel fully empowered, and vice versa. Like, I want to be empowered.
Absolutely.
So then we could move together as a unit and, keep it pushing, because I really do feel like my little family unit has like a crazy celestial hand over us, and this will prove over time, but I just got to keep doing my work. It's a lonely road. Like I said, sometimes it's a lonely road, because you see things, far ahead, even sometimes of the collective. I feel like sometimes I'm getting stuff that's like, it don't even calculate for me.
Right.
But then the way I've seen it work out for me, is it almost takes like, not always, because sometimes stuff is very instantaneous, but sometimes like the deeper stuff or things that I don't understand, it usually will take like a full year.
Mm,
So it's almost like I'm planting the seed in 1 year and then watching the harvest come the next year.
powerful. That is powerful. Powerful, powerful. Wow. Hey, brother Dante, do you got anything that you want to drop to us before we close it out?
Nope, but I pinned those two the amber I was telling you about. I pinned them at the top of my profile, so you ain't gotta look nowhere. If you just want to see what I was talking about when I said it looks like it's alive,
Yeah.
it's all the way it's at the top in the first few pictures. So I
Okay.
pinned both of them up there. The one that's a video with it jumping
Uh,
around, and the still
on what,
photo
your
of the
Instagram?
stuff. Yeah, on my Instagram.
Word.
Because
Oh, okay.
I was telling
Yeah,
her
I'm gonna
that
check that out.
Yeah.
right, it was a tree stump and it's oozing that amber out of there. And I was just telling her what it
Mm.
looks like. And well, you said you got some reds. I seen some that were had a little red shade to it.
Mm.
But
Yeah, look, I have some right here. I still have a lot of it left over. If you can see it right here, it's actually almost
Like
like
dragon's
blood red.
blood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like dragons, and that's what I heard in my head. Like, that's dragon's blood. Take it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know why I was taking this. I left it on the altar for 7, 8 months,
Wow.
and then it clicked. Then it clicked. I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do with it, because that dragon energy also goes in with Quetzalcoatl.
Mm.
oh
So
yeah,
so the feathers, he's known as a feathered serpent. So, so I coated those feathers with that it took me a while, I felt like a cosmic crackhead, like
That
you know what I'm saying? Like I was like,
gangster.
I was really
yo,
on
a
my
cosmic
alchemy, like
crackhead, bro. I'm going home, and I'm already here. I'm going home again.
straight
I'm at
cosmic
home right now,
crackhead.
but I'm going home just because you said cosmic
Right,
crackhead.
right.
You said a cosmic.
That's off the chain, off the chain. Hey,
I'm
y'all.
using that one. I got to steal that one, brother.
Shoot.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Wow. Wow.
But I ain't gonna use it in the way you use it, in a kind of nice way. I'm gonna
Right.
have to talk to you like that one
Right.
It's all good.
day.
But oh man, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Today was just a very, very powerful connection in dealing with Hierophant energy, and got a real live example of what it looks like today. And the way that this energy is just beginning to shift across the planet, a lot of folks are saying that, like Brother Dante was talking about, like a lot of these high frequency beings are coming into the planet at this time. And I really think because the vibration in this planet has been so low with all of the shit that has been going on, and many of those individuals is not really is spiritually connected, spiritually grounded, are really struggling. And
Yeah,
of
they're
course,
losing their mind for sure.
right, of
In
course,
real
right.
time, I can't
And
even go downtown no more.
right. And I'm gonna tell you something, with 7 year, we gotta remember that with all of the ascension that we have, on the other end, there's also going to be struggle, because 7 is the number of consciousness. And so on one vibration of it, we see, spiritual growth, and you know what I'm saying, and a lot of profound wisdom that's showing up in this world. But then on the other end, there's depression, there's mental illness, and there's a lot of suffering that goes along with that. And then a lot of people begin to really connect with their spirituality and begin to get a greater understanding through the struggle. And so, so we can expect that there's going to also be a lot of ascension, but there's going to be a lot of struggle that's going on with that too. And so we got to make sure that we taking care of ourselves out here in these streets so that we can be of assistance.
Gotta stay grounded. It's about staying grounded. That's why
Absolutely.
another reason why that's an excellent thing, that amber and all that,
Mm.
because it's like in between almost. It's like high vibrational, but it's from a tree, so it's also grounding because
Mm.
they're sucking up water, and this is a water year, but it's sucking up the water and turning that into tree blood.
Mm.
So it's root energy, and then it's also energy that can go to the up topmost part of the entire tree. Like if the
Right.
tree got injured at the very tip top of the tree, the amber will be up there, so it'll be anywhere. So it's gonna be right wherever you need it to be. You know what I'm saying? To assist you in staying grounded, because if you go too far in your head, you don't even have to do drugs to lose your mind. You can just be stuck in your. I was stuck in my mind a lot, like, and
Mm.
I just grounding uh helped me, like doing stuff like taking these spiritual baths. What's all the thinking is overrated, like, and it feels uncomfortable initially, like it's a safe place to just be in your head thinking that you can think up everything,
Right.
but there's no thinking about, like, how you dance when you hear music. There's no thinking there. There's
Right.
no if you try to think and dance, you're gonna look like I'm not gonna say you're gonna look like certain types of people who ain't got no rhythm. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Because you're
well,
thinking while you're dancing. You can't think. You gotta feel it. So
right.
down
And
to earth,
yeah,
grounded.
telling the truth don't mean that there ain't no love for them at the end of the day. It is what
Oh
it is.
No,
no, we're all love. We just
Yeah.
some people
Right.
accessing it and some people are not.
Right.
God be with the people who are not. They'll get it maybe in their next lifetime or whenever they get it. But it's like the earth is purging. So as within, so without. As our frequencies raise, we have to stay grounded as to not just be in the damn clouds. You got to
Absolutely.
keep it's balance, left and right. So there's logic, but there's also creativity and intuition. And to
Absolutely.
be strictly logical, you might be trying to explain, like the scientists that be going crazy trying to explain quantum physics. How
Right.
can it be? Einstein didn't he challenge that and say that ain't right? You can't do that. Like particles are conscious,
Mm.
so they're aware of when you watch them. They
Mm.
behave according to the observer. Like this doesn't make logical sense whatsoever. But
Mm.
a person can get lost trying to make that make sense, trying to look in the dictionary and find more and more words to explain something that maybe if they just experienced what is going on, they will understand it. Like I experienced dancing. I can't explain that to somebody who never danced before, never heard of music. I can't say it makes a noise and then you move like this. You can't explain. How you gonna explain that? How you explain the Harlem Shake? Like
Right.
how you explain color to a person who was born blind? Like they
Right.
have to experience it.
Right. Right.
So
That's
yeah,
no,
so check them incense out and go get you some, Shakasi. Go do it tonight. I don't know what you waiting on.
I'm going on a nature walk. What you talking? I'm gonna get me some. I
Okay,
ain't gonna
okay, go
right.
do
I ain't
that.
gonna pay for it. I'm gonna get it.
Do your thing. Do your
That's
thing.
exactly what that is. That was so powerful that you said that. So I guess I was gonna not do this channel. I wrote out for spirit wanted me to deliver it, and clearly that's what needs to happen, because Dante, both you and Axel was kind of hitting on a lot of this. So let me get into this quick message, and
Yeah.
you guys can go ahead and close it out. So here's a message that spirit gave to me. Take authority of your life and be rooted and grounded what it is that you do, and be bold and have the courage to see it through and get it done. We often wonder if we can, and we absolutely can. And I encourage and challenge you to pursue your passions, not the bullshit we just do to get money in our pockets, but something we do that wakes us up early in the morning to get a good start. It sets the tone of our day. And when we do something we love first thing, we put that energy in the rest of the day. Our work is productive, or our creativity is enhanced, and our ability to navigate minor and major frustrations move to a mastery level. You doubt that? Well, I would
Yeah.
strongly encourage you to give it a shot before knocking it.
Mm.
I would encourage, give you a shot before knocking it. You see, we tend to pass judgment on things out of our perception. We call it how we see it. So we think that it can't happen. Spirit, you call it, has a bird's eye view of the things outside of your sight. And you must have faith, trust to move forward. Allow spirit to guide you. And you do that by raising your frequency and doing what you love, your true passion, right where you are. The details work themselves out. Just trust that all will work out and know that all things are working out for your benefit. Do you remember a time when you didn't have faith and didn't believe in the sovereignty of you? What happened? Your belief came true. You don't realize that you were the cause of that loss. Your thoughts, low vibration, low frequency sets the tone for how you operate and function. And knowing that, and knowing this, what would you choose to do? How would you choose to roll? The choice is yours to make, but don't act surprised when your vibration is matched because you get to choose it. And that's that.
Mm.
We need to
Oh
raise
yeah.
our vibration out here in these streets.
Oh yeah.
Out.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'll say this too with the whole Hopi thing that I was listening to, because just listening to you guys talk about, um, it basically said that the vibration would change on the planet so much that there would be a lot of people going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of their prophecy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a lot of the stuff they've already said has already happened.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that makes a ton of sense. We're seeing it now. I mean, I know a brother, he's encountering people on drugs all the time, but these are people, the way it was said by the Hopi is basically that these people are empty, like they're empty in a way where any energy could embody them, but it's not going to be a good energy.
Mm.
So in a way that was kind of like saying to us, like, don't worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're trying to level, the everybody that's supposed to be on the frequency will be.
Absolutely.
Anything outside of that, like, these are where the distraction comes into
Mm-hmm.
play, because believe it or not, a lot of these people do not have souls
Right.
that we're seeing.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
do not have souls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're getting caught up in the illusion that this person is doing this, and no, they're just here like a fucking non-character player in a game,
Mm.
where they're just here to like do certain things and like play a certain role for your psyche.
Yeah.
But we have to know that we're taking care of whoever is supposed to move along this path is moving in this path already, or is going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing, like, we can't get so caught up in the distortion of that low frequency, because it's there just to distract us.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I view a lot of this life. I try not to attach so much of myself to people, because when I attach myself to what they're doing, or like if I'm feeling them too much, like, it'll affect me in a way where 3 weeks into the job, I'll be like, fuck it, I don't want to be here, and I'm trying to run. You get what I'm saying? Because I bought into what I'm viewing from them. But meanwhile, like, let's say because this actually happened, you know, I'm like feeling a certain way from everybody's energy at the job. And my wife says, you remember when you first like came into everything and like nothing affected you? Like you literally would go to the job and like you were always talking about how you were affecting people. And now you're telling me that like a lot of this stuff is affecting you. And that was all I needed to hear to switch my perception back to how I was thinking back then, which is I'm in control of what I'm experiencing.
Absolutely.
As shitty as whatever people may be doing, I have a way to still learn. So I put on some earpieces. I'm listening to teachings, or I'm listening to your podcast that I've, you know, not been able to be a part of, or I'm like I'm always listening, sis. I'm always listening to different things because I feel like that's the position that I play. I play a 0 point position where I don't judge nothing or anybody for where they're at in their walk or what people are saying. Because, like I said, I opened up this thing with the blue kachina, but I've heard different things from different people. Like I've heard some lady say that it's Planet X and Planet Xylanthia, which is Planet X is from the Sirius system.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I heard another person say it's Nibiru. You know, so there you could get caught up and be like, well, what is it? You know, man, people are just liars. Like, you know, you could get caught up in all that. But in my spirit, I just say, okay, I've listened to what I listened to. Let it go. The information will come to me as far as where my perception needs to be. Because as I've done a little bit of research, I realized that the Hopi tribe, when they say the blue kachina, they're talking about the star system Sirius.
Absolutely.
I did not know that before I read that.
Know, here's the thing. I didn't know that. I just felt that.
So immediately that's what tells me, okay, I'm on the right course. When immediately I thought the Dogon, Mayans, and Hopi, they're for sure these are interlinked somehow. And I know I'm gonna find it in the symbolism and all this stuff that as I'm reading these different books.
I'm almost certain you will. And I have read none of those books. And I'm almost certain you will. I don't know. I just know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly. When you know, that's all you could, like, if something, that's what I'm saying. It's in our seed already.
Yeah.
We're the seed that's unraveling, but we already know because we know the content is in there. We're just trying to like figure out how it's gonna make sense.
Right.
But
that's how
it's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful time. And I just want to thank you guys for coming through and supporting the Cypher and Brother Axel, Quantum Lion. I just appreciate like all of your support that you've given throughout, you know, all of this time. And Brother Dante, I'm here to tell you, man, you showed up and showed your ass to the beast today. If you ain't did nothing else, you came in here bringing fire.
Nah, I was up. I'm still up, really, but yeah, I was up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to the first half that I missed, so I can see.
First half. He came in here like, I'm like, and I'm gonna tell you, Spirit told me to start having Dante give us the science for free, because he'll sit here and he won't say a word, but he has a lot of the cures to this energy that we're navigating out here. And I you know, I'm just being obedient. That's all I'm here to do.
Me too. I'm being obedient to just learning to like I said, when I was saying I guess a couple shows ago that I had heard myself. Sometimes I'll listen to myself on the remix and whatnot, and I want to tell myself to shut up. It's like I'm being more and more and more present, because you know the past, present, and future are like that's some weird stuff to say. There's no logical sense in that. Like, what do you mean it's all happening that? But when you start to experience that, like, it's a totally different thing. That's where intuition
Oh,
and
it is, brother.
improvisation makes, that's where intuition and improvisation shows itself. Like, even when
Yep.
even when you play basketball, you have to be consistently present, or people are just you're gonna be dribbling down the court and someone's gonna pick you hella easy. But if you are
Yeah.
consistently present, the more present you are, the more you can. I used to like playing flag football myself or touch football,
Mm.
and I love you're trying to get me and you're not, bro. Like, I'm shaking you so crazy. Like, I'm making you touch earth because I am fully
That's how you
present.
learn the. That's how you learn the Harlem Shake, dog.
Yep. Basically, I mean, it is kind of like that because
Yeah.
hey, you can be doing your little Harlem Shake, and then you got to bust a move. Like, you got to come up with some. They just did something. You got to respond to what they did with your dance, and then they respond to what you did.
Trust.
If you logical, you're gonna go into, well, what did I practice in the mirror? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna try to make it make sense or be stuck somewhere. So being present will make your Harlem Shake a lot more effective, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing with the act of procreation. But I don't, not to get vulgar, not to be vulgar, but that came up earlier too. But I'm just saying, like, if you're having sex, you can be as logical as you want, and that's dry. If you're not fully present, if you're fully present, you're gonna do things that you're like, I've been in zones where I'm like doing, like, nobody taught me that, like doing, like, there's no explanation for it. So all that
That
to say,
zero
like,
point sex.
There you go.
yeah, 0.6, 0.6, and then
There it is.
so just to me speaking, like how I was just going in earlier, is because it just felt like I was just being present and feeling, like the
Yeah.
feeling the message and all that. Like, if somebody speaks on something that I don't really know too much about, I'm not saying nothing. Like, I'm gonna you know just be present and try to see where they coming from or how it applies to me, or if I can't add something, I will. But it's like a balance. It's like a give and take. So next time we have a cipher, I may not say nothing the whole time again. I don't know, because I'm gonna be present and I'm gonna know when to speak. You know what I'm saying? That's why I couldn't tell you. If you'd asked me last week, I would have said I'm not gonna talk next week.
Right.
But
But
that
you know
would be
what?
me
I didn't ask you the right
being
question.
logical.
I didn't ask you the right question. And so, you know what I'm saying? When Spirit let me know what the questions are for you, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess you were being more present in order to ask me the
Absolutely.
right question in divine timing.
Absolutely.
Because if you asked me a question about some of this stuff before I even had the amber that I started doing, like, let's say a year ago, before I even touched amber, I wouldn't have had nothing to say about amber, and I wouldn't have went on that whole spill.
Nope.
Like, if you had asked me, let's say, a year ago. So now that I have that experience, I could speak on that.
Right.
So it's yeah.
Right. But I can probably go in there and ask you, Dante, what's the work that I need to do to get my money up? Dante, what's the work that I
don't know. See, and that's
to
what
help
I'm gonna
me
say
move
is
past
I
energy?
don't necessarily know what you I can't answer that. Like, I don't, a Ganesha ritual. Like, I'm gonna go
See?
textbook on
There you go.
That's textbook shit though. That's not
Right.
shit I've experienced. I want to speak from experience and not from stuff that I read all the time.
Right.
Like, this stuff that I was just coming at you with is all experiences and putting like puzzle pieces together through
Right.
experiences and with stuff I read, things that I can confirm that I've experienced. Like, when I said the thing about the coyote, that just came with what I was saying. Like,
Yeah.
it just fit in there. So I just put it in there. But
it's gangster how that works, man. It's gangster how that works. This is how I know this is like real soul family shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we get a lot of the same information, a lot of the same channel. I connect with certain energies, and you know what I'm saying, and end up linking up with a lot of cats that's in the soul family and everything. But Dante, I knew who you was years ago from class.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
take
You
that.
came on class and I knew, I said, this dude's a shaman.
I'll take that.
This dude's a shaman, you
Still
know.
be humble about
Yeah,
it though, because I
right,
don't, you know,
right. Right. I know. Like I said, I
emotion.
observe people that, you know what I'm saying? And listen, and it's all good because this is all how spirit moves and everything. There's some other folks that I've been trying to get to connect with the cipher, and divine timing is all that is. But you know what I'm saying? But I know a master when I see one, and that's why I reach out to certain folks. I don't reach out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? I reach out to those people that, you know what I'm saying, that spirit leads, because it is time for us to start rising up here and really showing up in this world. You know, right where we're
Or go
at.
crazy, or go crazy, because
Right,
you know it's
because it's
happening
not the
regardless.
traditional way. It's not the traditional way. We ain't
Right.
looking for the guy that's in the three-piece suit, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, with the Cadillac and the storefront and all of that other stuff that we're used to seeing. It looks different.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? And it's really time for us to really, and for me, most importantly, it's an opportunity to have this discussion with folks that really get it, with folks that can help me learn, help me build, help me grow. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of selfish reasons for this whole thing too. You know?
I mean, you gotta be self-invested. I mean,
Absolutely.
if you and to be self-invested, it is, we're all one thing. So if to be self-invested and to be selfish, that don't mean stingy, you know what I'm saying? But as long when you're doing your part, at the end we all merge into the same thing anyway. So it's best to do whatever you and if it's put on you to help people or connect people, then do that. But it's like some people some people hear like the ego, you know. Bilal said it the best. Like the craziest shit I've ever heard. He like had me speechless. He said the mind, I've been wanting to say it, the mind will never admit when it is lost. That's crazy right there. Like that's just
That's real talk. Real talk.
I'm trying to make more sense. I can't, but it's just man, it's been a very challenging. Like the mind can lie to you, like the five senses can lie to you, but it's hard. That's what I would say. And now that came to me when you were saying, what would I say to somebody who's just starting off, is to be balanced. Right. And you know, be balanced within yourself and aspire to go beyond the senses. Because I was very like you learn as much as you want out of books, but the mind will never admit it is lost. Like how perfect, like people who seem, if you're totally logic, in my opinion, you're not living life.
Right.
Because life isn't life. How did you get into a body? You know what I'm saying? And you can't put those questions inside somebody. Like, how did I get in this body?
Right.
Like,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like I said, I'm glad that you showed up, but you know, it's just really, I love the way spirit works. I didn't know that. I just thought, you know, what came to me is that he got the science for free. You know what I'm saying? You need to ask him what the work is. And so, and he just came in giving the work. I said, shh. So it's all good. And I'm here for that shit. That's what I'm talking about. But you guys, I so appreciate you so much. But we've been on here, we've been rapping for over 2 hours. And so I'm gonna definitely call it today. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and coming in here and just showing out. And peace and love to both of you, brothers.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace.
See y'all next time.
Peace.
Bye-bye.